Welcome into another edition of the Gator Nation Football Podcast Film Review. I'm your host, James DiVirgilio, and on this episode, we'll take a look at Florida's defense versus Samford's offense. Florida was facing an overmatched FCS opponent in this game, but they left us with more questions than we have answers. We'll take a look at the entire film on this episode to see what went right, what went wrong, and tactically what was a bit questionable. As always, if you like the content, sub to this channel, follow us on social media, check out our weekly podcast, and drop us a dono where you can support our efforts to bring you this type of content year-round. Also, join us for the UCF game where we'll be hosting a tailgate, a GNFP meetup tailgate on Gator Walk. You can get your free ticket by clicking the link in the description. All right, without further ado, let's take a look at what Florida put on film in the game against Samford.
Week 2 for the Florida defense and another opponent that runs air raid. Florida's own Russ Callaway used to be at Samford, and air raid is on display. Again, a different style of air raid than what we saw with Miami, but air raid nonetheless. Before we go any further, a special thanks to Gator, who has generously spent his time cutting the TV cut for me. He posts this on his YouTube channel, so you can see the TV cut without my commentary there as well. But really saves me quite a bit of time not having to cut down the TV cut myself. So huge shout out there to Gator. Appreciate him making my life just a little bit easier. You'll see him featured up there in the upper right corner of your screen. All right, Samford came out and had a first down, actually had some success, and is going to confuse Florida here again. You're going to see Pup Howard there. Pup's going to get a little bit sucked in by this run fake. And Samford's offense is good, especially their quarterback, who last week had 400 yards of offense by himself, both running and passing, elusive with his feet. I thought he did a nice job commanding the offense in this game. Good ball here. They turned the corner, and then Jason Marshall, a guy who last year was on this very film review oftentimes for not putting great stuff on film, disappointing given his talent. So far, 2 weeks in, he's putting nothing but great stuff on film, and you're going to see a really great effort play from Jason. He could just check out right now and say, I'm just going to hold my block here and let my boys get him, right? But instead, he's going to shed this block and then punch the ball out right here. Really high effort play. Love to see it. Shed your block, and right here, there's your punch. Punch down, right? Bam. Ball's loose. I can't really explain what happens at this point. You can see that Jason Marshall sees the ball. He's looking right at the ball. And then he chooses to kind of look like he's going for the ball. And then he looks up at the sideline as if maybe it's not. And, of course, the reason is the ref blows it dead, right? He sees the ref down here, and he says, okay, well, I thought I stripped it out, but maybe I didn't get it out in time. I can't be sure. But thankfully, Gates is so close to the ball that he's like, whatever, I'm going to fall on it. And he does, and then he loses it. Kind of a weird play here. He loses the ball, only to then get it back. Jason Marshall's jumping around, thinking he almost forced a fumble, when in reality he did force a fumble. That is going to be a turnover. Florida, with just a minute into the game, has already generated a turnover in this game, something they struggled mightily to do last year at all against any opponent. And they get one here, despite the fact that Samford actually was moving the ball quite nicely. We're only 2 weeks into the season, but already there are some differences between Austin Armstrong and Ron Roberts. If you've been listening to the podcast at all, or even last week's film review, you know, of course, that Ron and Austin come from the same exact tree, and Ron was really the one who taught Austin mostly everything he knew, and Austin runs the same defense. But this year, I think Ron's influence is weighing far more heavily, at least through 2 games. Austin tactically tends to be far more aggressive, and on 3rd down and 1 here versus an overmatched opponent, normally you would see Austin pressing up into this far more and daring Samford to do something else. I prefer that. In fact, a lot of times Florida's pre-snap looks last year when they were lined up correctly were very sound. I would note that on the film review. To me, this is not a sound pre-snap look on 3rd and 1 versus an overmatched opponent where you only have 5 guys on the line of scrimmage on 3rd down and 1, right? And they're outnumbering you here by a wide margin. 9-5. Any one of these guys could run. He's a running threat. And you've got, to me, I don't know, a lot of guys off the ball here, not making plays. We're basically content to give them this. And to make matters worse for Florida's defense, we're going to see the good old counterplay. Always a favorite on this channel. Here comes the H-back guard counter. We're going to come out here, going to see if we can get a little crease on a power run. And here we go. Nice work. You're going to see Gums do this really well later, but he does a nice job here to come in here and he wants to crash this early. It's a slow-moving freight train. You want to blow this up as far back in the backfield as you can, and if you want to hit a home run, you want to like compress this and crunch this in here. So you close that as a window. Now, he strikes that block as hard as he can. However, 58 wins this one-on-one battle and does ultimately kick him out, right? So now the running back is free. It's 3rd down and 1. Now we're here. We've got the H-back one-on-one here, and this is going to be a good play right here for Samford, and then there it is. Off to the races. We're going to miss a tackle right there, and now this counter going to hurdle a guy, right, picking up a lot of yards. So Samford's run, 4 or 5 plays at this point. Only one of them was bad, and the only reason it was really bad was they fumbled. But 3rd and 1, a different posture, I think, from Florida, a different style than Austin's. Again, I prefer a more aggressive style personally. We're going to see how that plays out for Florida. Obviously, Florida had a huge issue with explosive plays last year, and perhaps that's the reason why. Maybe they don't trust Florida to fill the right gaps, and so they want to limit the damage. We're going to find out how that works out. But right there, Samford picks up that 3rd down and 1 with ease. 3rd down and 8, Sapp is going to just absolutely win right out of the gate right here. His one-on-one is going to be pressuring Samford's quarterback almost immediately. The only problem is, although he takes an initial quality angle, we talked about this last week when it comes to rushing lanes. And I actually hilariously got a comment where somebody, presumably a Miami fan, was on there talking about how quarterbacks, rushers, defensive linemen, defensive tackles, etc., don't have rush lanes. Their goal is just to, quote, sack the quarterback, which is quite entertaining because, of course, they have gaps in rush lanes, and they extend infinitely all the way up the field so that you can make sure that you basically, essentially, in the perfect world, have all 4 guys rushing like that. And why do you want that? So that you can trap the quarterback and sack him. But I digress on that for the moment. So at any rate, what Sapp's doing right now is actually very good. I want him to do exactly what he's doing, which is to play this shoulder right here. That's good for 2 reasons. 1, he's a right-handed quarterback. We'd rather have him roll this way than this way. So check mark there. And 2, this is his lane. This is his lane. You don't want him to go over here, which is not his lane, because then you leave only 1 guy over here, right? So if you miss this way, you have 2 players that can then come help you because that's their lane. So this is good. If you're going to miss, we're going to want to miss the way that Sapp misses. The only problem is he comes in entirely too hot, right? You know on the scouting report, this guy is actually quick. You can't just bulldoze him like this. So once you clear here, break down for a second, right? Stay in your lane, pursue your lane this way to make him come here. But if you don't come so hot, you'll be close enough to him that he's not going to get as much separation. Again, he's going to be faster than you if you're Sapp, but you do want to attempt, of course, to take an angle that right now is not so aggressive so that if he does make this move, you are able to help out. But Sapp's all the way up there. Again, good miss because he's to the proper side of the lane. If anyone else on the defensive line had gotten any penetration at all, a recurring problem for Florida, if anyone else had gotten any penetration at all here, we'd be in good shape. Unfortunately, nobody else has. So again, Sapp with good pressure. Good job by Samford's quarterback to escape the pressure. And now we're off to the races, and 3rd and 8 is going to become a 1st down. So that's frustrating because Sapp does get a win there and nobody else on the defensive line does. And that's what create the problem here. So Sapp, for me, this is not a problem. He could have done better, obviously, by containing. But again, Sapp's never going to win this battle. He's never going to win this battle one-on-one with the entire field, right? You have to rush as a unit. And that's my point about the rushing lane comment, is that obviously you have to stay in your gap lane even when you're rushing, and the reason for that is simple. You have to work together. He's never going to win this one-on-one. They could play tag versus each other in the entire field. He's not going to win. And so all I'm saying is if he comes a little better in here, then that's going to allow his teammates, if they also win, to get a sack more often in this area. So in this case, Sapp does win his one-on-one. We need more one-on-ones being won from Florida's defensive line this season if they want to have more success. And 3rd and 8 here turns into a 1st down for Samford. Samford actually picked up the first 3rd and 18, but due to a holding, it came back. So Florida getting a second life here. You're going to see Gums right here is going to sniff this play out and just end it before it really even starts. Samford had a lot of creative plays. Here comes the play right out of Napier's playbook, right? The little pop pass, which on the offensive side of the film review, you saw Trey take to the house. In this case, Gums is not fooled, and they are not blocking Gums. Gums is the unblocked man. Perhaps they should go back to the drawing board with this design, because pre-snap with this look on 3rd and 18, and again, I think sometimes coaches run plays 3rd and 18 is long. They're running something safe. It's not made for 3rd and 18, but you love to have a sight adjustment here where if you're Samford, you say, hey, look, we have a great look. We have a great look on for this play. Not to get a first down, but to at least get yards, right? Look at what we have here. This is fantastic. Let's have our H-back just block this. That's all we need to do. We don't need to get him working all the way up here because we really have 2 guys blocking no one in this case, and we're going to allow him to just come right in here. Now, it's possible that Samford blows this, but I don't think so. I think he's immediately going to work here, and then theoretically he would work out to the next guy, but that's not what's happening here. They have a great advantage running this play numbers-wise. They have Florida and the look they want to at least get down to here for free. They don't do it, and Gums takes advantage. Nice work by Gums to get upfield into the lane. He knows that's his role here. He's going to be the spill defender. He's going to crash in here and get this. And he does that, right? He crashes in, makes the tackle, wrap up. This is how you wrap, by the way. Look at this. Wrap, 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 right? Great wrap up. Take him down on 3rd and 18 and force a punt. Nice work there by Gums. 3rd and 8 here for Florida. Florida, again, going to elect to play relatively conservatively here, at least in the box. I'm going to like this call a lot from Samford. I like this call a lot. As you see, Florida's trying to play sound in the passing game. So we're going to play 4 over 3, and we're going to play 2 over 1. That's showing a lot of respect for Samford's ability to pass on 3rd down and 8, despite the fact they haven't really even tried to do that. They've been gapping you with a lot of flat routes and a lot of underneath passes. And Samford wisely recognizes that, hey, if Florida wants to sit back and respect our pass that much, let's just run the ball, right? Little quick fake, and let's run the ball and see if we can't get Florida's defensive ends, who versus an FCS team are going to be hungry to get a sack, to come too far up the field and then kick them out. Really nice play design. See, Sapp's hungry, thinks it's got to be a pass here. It's not going to be a pass, and if Sapp slows down and reads this a little better, then he's not going to get himself blown out of the gap. This is his role to protect the edge, and he comes in thinking, I'm going to get to the spot, and then we're chipped right out of it. And now Sapp is out of his gap, right? Out of his gap. We're also getting blocked up here at the linebacker spot, so we're not free on this side to come help out. But this is Sapp's gap, and he gets blown right out of it. It's a nice play design. Good call by Samford. Good timing there. And we're going to make this tackle, but Samford's going to get that first down. So really nice call, again, by Samford. But Florida playing, very conservative, as if Samford's going to really hurt you there passing by playing, again, kind of max pass defense there on 3rd and 8, which there's certainly an argument for that. But I think up to this point in time in the game, Samford has not shown the ability to complete downfield passes. And Samford here with a nice call to pick up a first down. 3rd and 9 now. Florida's going to bring a creeper on this play. We're just going to rush 4. We're going to bring a creeper right here. Creep right in here. Going to rush 4. I'll roll the tape a little bit so you can see that. Okay, right here. We're going to rush just 4, right? So we're creeping in here. There's your 4-man rush. We're going to drop back here. We're dropping back here. We're going to drop essentially into a normal pass defense here. 7 guys dropping, 4 rushing. And Sapp is going to win his one-on-one right away in here. Get a nice rush off the edge from Searcy. But Sapp's really going to be the main one for this play here. He's been close. He's been in and around the ball here this entire first half. There he goes. Breaking right through this part of your screen right here. Breaking right through. Here he is. Works through. Gets free. Good coverage from Florida in the zone. Searcy now blowing his man off and putting him on the ground right there. Right, knocks him on the ground. That's a win for Searcy. And then Searcy overruns it perhaps, but don't worry. We're going to meet at the quarterback in the middle. And there's Sapp. And down he goes. So very, very nice play, both Searcy and Sapp getting pressure. It's good to see Florida getting any pressure from an edge position at all, whether it's the end or the jack. They've struggled to do that. And then Sapp, of course, winning yet another one-on-one battle there quite nicely. So a 3rd down and 9 sack. 3rd down and 10, and I'm going to file this in the again, what is Florida doing category here. 3rd down and 10. Focus the top of your screen here. This is Castell. We're going to bring Castell down to guard the slot receiver, and we're going to send Douglas back here. Again, as if Samford on 3rd and 10 is going to throw a bomb. We're going to vacate this. But you can do this. It's fine if you want to do that. Does it feel like it's a little bit unnecessary versus Samford? Probably. Are they practicing something for the future? Maybe. But this stuff can't happen, and Castell on film continues to show me that he's unwilling to play aggressively when it is his job to do so. Here are the sticks right here. Let's watch what Castell does. I'm not liking what I'm seeing on film. This has got to get coached better. Again, you know what the play call is. There is no reason for you, right, especially in this scenario here, to let this happen. This is where the quarterback wants to go. If I'm coaching Castell right now, I'm saying, look, here, Castell, Jordan, here's the deal. If you're a quarterback pre-snap, what you are saying right away is, I like this look. I like this spot right here. I've got to go 10 yards. I've got no pressure. I've got a safety on me. I'm feeling very, very good about this matchup. I'm going to love this matchup when I see him back up off hike. I'm going to love that matchup. So if I'm going to be the one to come in here and rob this, I don't need to hide it any longer. I need to say, drop back, look there, think I've got something, and I'm flying in here to stop this, because otherwise I'm going to complete this, right? That is the obvious look. And let's watch how Florida defends this. It's 3rd down and 10. There goes Douglas. He's going to drop back, so we're essentially running like we're going to drop into a, right here, he's going to be your low hole defender. It's going to be cover 2 style defense here. He's going to be low. We're going to supposed to come down in here, right? We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it at all. Here it comes, right here. Look at Castell. What are you doing? What are we waiting for? He's now walling off the inside, but he's literally gifting him everything he wants in here. And this is the look that he's looking at. And I think even he can't believe it. He takes the ball. He's like, looks good. Looks good. It still looks good. Still looks really good. Is it really, look, this can't be this easy, right? I mean, this is 3rd down and 10 in the swamp. What are we doing here? Now, could this be Shamar James? Is Shamar James supposed to be getting more depth out there? Almost certainly. Let's take a look at both of Florida's linebackers here. Let's watch this as they're dropping into his zone. Let's look at their relationship to each other. I mean, Shamar looks to peek and see who's here, right? He looks over his shoulder to peek right here. He's going to peek. Watch him. He's going to peek and check, but I mean, we're nowhere near that hitch. So we are effectively both standing right next to each other. We're not fanning out here or coming out here to take away any kind of routes. He needs to be bubbling over here. And then if we're Castell, we're walling off the inside for what purpose exactly? The sticks are right here. What exactly are we afraid of on defense on 3rd down and 10 versus an FCS opponent to give up this kind of pre-snap, post-snap look? And if it is a blown assignment and a blown coverage, why? You can't be doing this kind of stuff. This is very disappointing right here to see on film. This does not build confidence for the future SEC schedule. And this is just, again, to me, this is an inexplicable result. I don't care what the excuse is. Whether, hey, look, we blew the call, whatever the case is, you cannot put this on film. You can't make this happen. And by contrast, look what's happening down here, right? Down here we also have soft coverage, which is fine. We're going to flat foot this. He's not going to move. Watch. He's not going to move. He's sitting on that route. That's not going to happen down there, but I don't know. I'm harping on this because that's outrageous to me. 3rd and 7. Gums says, fool me once. Although he didn't get fooled last time. He blew up that H-back guard counter. But you're not going to get it twice because you did blow me out here last time, right? You pushed me out of the hole. It's not going to happen this time. This time I am going to win. And here comes on 3rd down and 7. There it is. There's your H-back guard counter, right? We're going to slow moving fade train right here. We're going to kick out. When the kick comes out, get him out of here. And you want to come right here through the hole and get your block here, right? That's the goal. We've seen this work on Florida on film for years. 2 problems here. 1, this time Gums is going to go even lower here, and he is going to actually just erase this as a whole. And then a win from Cam Jackson is going to ruin the other pulling defender. This is how you do it. Again, look at what happened right here. That is like the dream scenario. This is a highlight defensive film tape here by Gums. And I love seeing this because Florida has struggled with this play mightily throughout the years. We always talk about striking a block. This is what you do. You hit him. Bam. You hit 54 right there. Get into him. You're both going to go down. Now you're taking out the puller as well, and you've closed the gap. If you can spill this play to the outside, it's never going to work. You don't want it to go through here. Not only does he do that, he's there to actually make the tackle. I mean, that's heroic. There's no way he's supposed to be able to make that tackle. He's supposed to strike that block and blow it up, but he actually makes the tackle with Cam Jackson coming over top, and rightfully so. I mean, he gets fired up, and he should. That is a fantastic, fantastic play. Great individual effort there by Gums. We saw a one-on-one last week where Jackson played good defense, had a nice crossbody jam, worked well to the outside. On this particular play, we are not going to see that from Jackson. Technique is going to get a little sloppy here, and he's going to pay the price. So right off the bat, we know that we're outside the numbers, which means, right, quite simply, that the sideline is our defender. So if he wants to come out here, we're going to stay to the inside of him with inside leverage and let him run this out with the sideline to be our defender. And if he wants to run inside of us here, depending on what defense we're in this particular case, we're going to let him have the inside route, and we're going to stay on his outside shoulder. No matter what, whether he runs to the inside or to the outside, we want to stay on top of the route, right? Especially because we do not have a safety sliding over here to help us. So we want to stay on top of the route as much as possible. Let's watch at the bottom of your screen. What happens here is we go for the crossbody jam. However, we're going far more two-handed this time than one-handed. And now we're going to miss some. Again, right, we're over-leveraging ourselves. We missed the push, and now we're a little off balance. And we've already lost top control of the route, right? So one little fundamental miss, we've lost top control of the route. We're now going to have to be in recovery. And unfortunately, this is where they want to go. This is exactly what they're looking for. Notice over here what's happening. We have complete top control with Jason Marshall. This guy's erased, and he's over. But he already knew that pre-snap. I'm not going to Jason Marshall. I'm going at the sophomore. That's who I'm going at. I saw last week they got him. I'm going to get him too. And now we're holding at the bottom of the screen, right? We're holding the shoulder. We're trying to get away with it. We're chasing. Now we're going to pull a jersey because we're cooked. He's like, man, this guy actually is pretty quick here for Samford. I'm chasing. I'm trying to recover. I got to get back. I'm going to look for the ball now because I did get back because I am faster than him. I'm back in position. Look for the ball. Nice little work by 12 to get the arm out there and hold him off. Jackson falls down. Catch finished. And a nice explosive passing play there for Samford. So everything as a corner, if you're going to play press, right, if your technique even gets a little bit off, a little sloppy, even against an FCS opponent, they're quick enough to get past you, and you see it on display right there. I had questions on 3rd down and 10. I have questions about this play on 2nd down and 8. Florida's been trying to involve the safety a lot more in a creeper or even a blitz. In this case, they're going to creep in. We're just going to rush 4. Castell, I think, is not only is his timing often very poor on these, he's often trying to disguise it too much. He's not even going to come in at like 60% on this. He's going to kind of jog right in here. He is the 4th rusher. That's his job. So far, as best I can tell on film, I would tell Castell, you're not always playing safety. When your assignment is to come downhill and be a 4th rusher, you are a rusher. You're no longer a safety. You got to flip the switch mentality-wise. But also look at what we're asking the defenders to do here, because I'm not sure how on paper this is going to work to the field side or the wide side of the field, because we're going to reroute here, which is good from Gates. We're going to reroute here, and then he's going to slide over to that spot of his zone. So we're going to reroute to the outside, and he's going to sit. Presumably Shamar in this case, which he's eyeing, he needs to eye the receiver. He needs to bubble back all the way over to here because he knows that Castell is coming down here as the 4th rusher, right? Then we're dropping back in this area right here with Cersei. He's also going to be IDing any routes to come across here. But Shamar is not even going to get close to this. And again, you're Samford, you're looking at this window thinking, he is staring this down because he can. Because we're going to buzz over here to the flat like we did. We reroute. We're rerouting to buy time so we can get over here. And we're not even getting close to getting over there. He's looking at that like, okay, is this real life? Look at this. Come on. This is so easy. We've just simply 2-on-1'd this defender. Where are we here? We have 3 guys covering no one. We used to see that a lot 2 years ago. We didn't see that as often last year. In fact, that was one thing that was improved. We weren't a good zone team. But oftentimes we didn't see this as often. So this is kind of creeping back into our window now where our zone defense is kind of regressing into like, what is the plan here? We can know what the assignment is. Again, you got to have a hook defender. There is no hook defender. It's got to be Shamar in this scenario. But also, are we really expecting Shamar from where he starts over here? Look at where he's starting. Are we expecting Shamar to get to a slot receiver who's almost at the numbers? If he's also in run fit, which he is on 2nd and 8, he's got to ID that play is, okay, not a run. Now he needs to haul this way. And again, I think he's not doing it, right? I think a lot of Florida defenders are doing 2 jobs at once. You must send it to get over here. You know there's no other receiver. You're not responsible for the running back. You have to get to your zone. He's not going to get it, but also just play design-wise. Like, what are you hoping for there? And then lastly, lastly, what are we thinking with Castell here? I mean, again, if you're Castell, what's your job? Your job's to rush into this gap, right? You're the C gap rusher here, and he's jogging. We're jogging. We're going to put our hands up. I mean, that is poor. Like, again, if you're grading somebody on film, Castell, you got to be better than this. You can't be putting this kind of stuff on film. You are the rusher there. It's weak. It's weak, and it's too easy. 2nd and 10, Castell again, unfortunately, going to end up on the wrong side of this film because as soon as we get the running back motioning over here, it's going to be his responsibility. Here he comes. He knows it's his. That is his responsibility. I can't quite figure out why he thinks he has another role. He does not have another role. It is his job to come get him. Again, I think at times he's just always playing safety. He's not a safety anymore. He's responsible for defending the flat. And because he's not going to go there quickly enough, watch what he's doing. He's going to come down. Here we go again. He's going to come down here. He's going to look at the quarterback. He's going to wait and wait. It is his responsibility, right? He needs to get down here onto that, and he doesn't. And so now what's he going to do? Well, now he's in trouble, right? He didn't go down there. He didn't hustle down there. He's also now going to try to beat one guy, which he does, and then 41 just going to absolutely earhole him and blow him up. There he goes. Get off the field, right? Turn your back around, and Shamar cannot get there in time, and this is almost a touchdown. All right, this play can be avoided because Castell has got to put his helmet on, put the mouthpiece in, and he's got to fly in here and break this play up. That's precisely what he's doing when we get the motion. Now, Florida's back end has to get this right too, because if you're saying, well, wait a minute, what if he just comes flying down in here and then they want to run like, a double post, or they want to run a double slant? Well, that's where Florida's got to also be on this, right? Shamar's got to be in here. They're getting us 4-3. The play call's not good from the start anyway, and we're already in trouble. It's already 4-on-3. We're already not shifting over fast enough, so we've got more problems than just Castell. But if it's Castell, you know your job. Your job in this case is no longer to be back here. You're not a freeze defender. You're a fit defender. You're coming down here and you're taking away the flat, and anything that comes over here on top of you is not your fault. Now, again, I'm going to say this like I always say, I cannot know for sure what Florida's actual defensive responsibilities are on this play. I cannot tell you that, right? I cannot tell you. As we start off here, I can assure you as we're in this formation that they have, without a doubt, responsibilities for 1, 2, and 3. Now we bring the running back over. That's going to bring a fourth, right? It's going to bring a quad set. They definitely have new responsibilities based upon how they want to handle this. There are 12 to 100 different ways you could choose to defend this. However you want to pass it off, however you want to handle it, there's lots of ways you can do it. But for sure, somebody has got to be the flat defender. Based upon how Castell moves, you imagine that to be him. And again, this is not going to cut it. I mean, it's just not going to cut it. And other teams are going to see this on film. You better believe they're going to see what we just did versus a quad set. And they're going to see that if Castell's the one responsible for coming down, he doesn't want to be in there. He doesn't want to strike a block. And because he doesn't strike a block, he gets blown out of the hole so cleanly that Shamar James cannot get there. Again, right, Shamar is in an okay position here. If you can get Castell to come down with speed and knock this around here, then we're okay. Doesn't want to do it. Doesn't do it. Gets ear-holed out and knocked off to the sideline, and we're off to the races down to the 1 yard line, basically. All right, 1st and goal now on the 1. Florida's putting stuff on film that concerns me for the future of this season, and here's another example of it. Obviously, you need to be great up front in the SEC, especially playing the teams Florida's going to play this season, and you tell me what this looks like. So early on, we're going to get a win here, right? Dez is going to wind up not only winning in the A-gap, he's going to actually push their center backwards. So we're going to get a win there. We're also getting a win here in the B-gap. So we're winning on the line here, and we're in good shape. But now we need a linebacker to fill this gap with some conviction because they are on the inch line. We don't have time to wait, and we can't get pushed back. We need to sell out here. And if he's able to bump this in and come to the outside, that's on him. That's not on you, right? Hit your gap with conviction. But instead, he's going to knife his way in here where there's not a lot of space, and then he's going to drive again. He's going to drive himself into the end zone. There he is. He's down low. You're going to see him kind of dive down in there. But he's going to drive his way in and score a touchdown. There you go. Offensive line kind of turns the corner, a bunch of bodies in there. But he's able to put his head down and win that leverage battle in the hole. And really what you need to have happen here is you've got to, right here, you're playing linebacker. It's at this moment where you say, I'm coming steam ahead right here. That's my job. I need to meet him in the gap and repel him. Doesn't work out, right? Now, look, that's just one play. Any defense can get beat on one play on the inch line. But again, for Florida, I think we're not seeing a lot of domination on the line of scrimmage. We're not seeing any of that, really. And we're not seeing adequate play on the line of scrimmage either. And I think, again, that's got to change really fast if Florida wants to be able to compete in the SEC. All right, 2nd and 7, and last play we'll look at for defense. We've, of course, taken a look at most of the things that Florida didn't do well in this game on film study, largely because versus an overmatched opponent, you expect to have some highlight plays, right? We balanced out some of those as well. We want to kind of show you what might this look like for the future. That's my goal on all these plays. Like, what am I seeing that may lead to something that we should be aware of in the future? And one thing we're seeing is that Jason Marshall is playing really, really quality football. Again, he should, right? He's Florida's most talented player on defense, at least when it comes to NFL draft stock right now, polished and talented. Last year he struggled. And like we talk about each week on film review, last year, this year, 3 years ago, what you put on film is the truth, right? It doesn't lie. It's there. Everyone can see it. You can make your own judgments about it, but it's right there. And last year, Marshall wasn't putting great stuff on film all the time. Well, this year so far, 2 games through, he's putting excellent stuff on film. And let's watch his technique here at corner. So we're outside the numbers. Anything that goes to the outside, we're going to stay to the inside with inside leverage, and we're going to use the sideline as a defender. Just like always, if we can, and he goes to the outside, we want to cross body, right? We want to use our left arm, cross body jam here to be able to turn and stay on top of the route. So on 2nd and 7, let's see how Jason Marshall does. I think it's late in the 3rd, and Samford's like, we want to at least throw one ball at this guy. I'm sure the players on the side are like, well, let's try him out one time. Let's at least throw something his way. There's your crossbody jam. Nice clearance step. Get the left arm on. Rotate with him. He's going to the outside. Stay on top of the route. And there you go, right? He's on top of the route. He is ahead of the receiver. He is now in control of this engagement. The quarterback's looking over there, not feeling great about this. Marshall's on top. That's okay. He knows his guy's going to try to run a stop and go because they know they just can't run a go against Jason Marshall. Perhaps now because he's in such good position here, he's going to then come down and try to stop the stop and go, right? He's a great defender, wants to make a pick. And Jason Marshall, in this case, maintains top control of the route. That is a home run right there. He does not oversell for the underneath. He stays, and right off your screen, you can see he's still in control of this route. QB's getting pressure there by Kelby Collins. He's got to throw it anyway. Ball's up. Marshall's up. Now Marshall's playing receiver. Looks up for the ball, and that ball's way out of bounds. Nowhere to go, right? That is perfect technique, super clean defense by Jason Marshall, and that is exactly what you want to be putting on film if you plan to be an NFL corner, especially against an overmatched Samford team. But either way, great technique. Again, good technique is going to lead to success down the road. Obviously, if a guy is just far more athletic than you, you're going to have struggles. But if your technique is not good and you're the most athletic guy in the world, you're going to have struggles, right? So Jason Marshall putting good stuff on film there, a highly talented guy, closing out this game with a solid result. So Florida's defense only gives up 7 points in this game. Mixed bag, though, with what they put on film. There's some good stuff. There's some troubling stuff. There's still a lot to clean up. There's some questioning play calls, questioning scheme design. A lot more questions will be answered when Florida plays Texas A&M, a team that is struggling offensively, a team that if Florida's going to have a chance of slowing someone down looking in the future onto their schedule, A&M is a prime candidate for that, right? So we're going to see how they handle that challenge of an SEC team that's struggling on offense in the Swamp next Saturday. As always, I hope you enjoyed this film review, and I look forward to being back with you next week when I break down the A&M game.